We have with us a stellar panel, a powerhouse performer, singer, songwriter, music director, and actor. Manasi Scott is multi-hyphenated. Starting her career at the age of 8, she was the only artist to be invited to perform at Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas's wedding, and has performed at over 2,000 shows. More. Damn. Lisa Mishra grabbed the attention of social media and took her from singing in her bedroom to playing at sellout shows, including her performance at the iconic Global Citizens One World Together at Home. As a singer-songwriter, Lisa has a powerful voice in the Indian pop scene.
Yes, she is.
Yes, she is the pop
Yes. A Grammy nomination, a BMI Pop Award as a songwriter, collaborations with notable artists like Gwen Stefani, Iggy, Fifth Harmony, and many more. Songwriter, rapper, and recording artist, Raja Kumari is a force of nature. Yay. And we're so happy to have all of you with us today.
We have arrived.
We're going to start with you, Lisa. You left US to move to India to follow your career.
I did.
Tell me, would things look differently if you had stayed back and pursued your music career there?
I would not be stuck at the Elphinstone signal for 30 minutes. I'll tell you that much.
That is true.
I'm so sorry for holding everyone up here. Yeah, of course they would have. I used to work in tech and finance, so I had a day job. I had no aspirations of, making it out, much less like leaving the country and the city maybe, to pursue a career in music. I've been doing music since I was 4 years old. I've been writing since I was 13, 14. So I never thought of it as a future path. I think that I would have continued doing tech if I had been there.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. We were at karaoke scenes.
Yeah, that's right. I was doing karaoke and open mics.
And YouTube videos.
That's right, and YouTube videos since I was a child, essentially.
And Rajakumar, you left America to come here and pursue a career as well. Is the scene very different? Are women artists perceived very differently abroad?
Is this on? Okay.
Yes. It's like a double-edged sword. I feel that in the West, when I was, signed to major labels in the U.S., I found that it was always a question about trading the culture in order to get more support from the labels. So there was things that were said to me like, if you don't wear the bindi, we'll give you more budget. But then they'll put budget on Selena Gomez for wearing a bindi. So there was a lot of very confused wording and then a lot of weird people around the culture. So that's why I went to India, because I felt like I didn't have to explain myself as much. And as a newer artist, even though I had been songwriting for many years, releasing my own music was relatively new to me. And I just felt like if I have a song called Mira, I can release that in India. I don't have to give a huge backstory as to who is Mira, what is the reference to this character. I could just play into these, stories that I grew up on. But in India, I would definitely say, since I say double-edged sword, the lack of female, representation is such an issue that they almost don't know how to deal with a strong woman that knows what she wants. It's very strange. So it has its own set of issues. And I think I've found success by using each against each other. So be like, hey, India, America thinks I'm great. And then be like, America, I was on the cover of Rolling Stone. And just keep using each other to make them respect me on each side, which is exhausting, but part of being a woman in this patriarchal world.
Absolutely. Manasi, that's about your experience. I know we've had this discussion before, so go for it.
I think being in the business for more than 2 decades now, and I'm a software engineer. I was actually going to MIT with a scholarship, and my dad told me sing songs, and I was literally singing and composing forever, and not many people know that I compose my own songs. It's just that I've never joined the social media bandwagon. I've always been a live show artist, and that's been great. But I think having seen it a little longer than both these beautiful ladies next to me, our own gender is biased against our own gender. When it comes to men, when they have to go up against the women, it's men band together against women. Women, unfortunately, are biased against their own gender in the sense everybody needs to work, I know that. But while we recognize the gender bias and while we are trying to work through it, women have to take one strong stand in our industry is to not be a part of a concert circuit which doesn't have a female headliner, is to actually refuse it. I mean, the Nurani sisters played, I think, N87, and they were given second stage and some Bollywood guy was given first stage, they would sing anybody out of the park. But they still have female artists that want to go to an 8/7, which have, So it's our own gender. It's a small start. This is a great small start, and it's great to have women with voices. At least that's what I love about the forum ladies who lead. You know that. The fact that this is a female group, we're not trying to better ourselves at games which men have invented where they go around chasing balls and get into a men's club. We're trying to create something that's our own, and I think that's the way forward for breaking the bias.
Lisa, have you come across this as well? Because I know that it was the Kapoor sisters who really transformed your trajectory, especially with
Absolutely.
the Tarifa.
I think I got lucky to be, brought into this industry by two very strong women. And then my first management company was all female run. So I was again surrounded by very strong women. And in my corner are also very strong. This is my best friend on the stage with me. So I have very strong women. And I think, to what Manasi said earlier, although yes, we compete, it's because we've been taught to. We've always been told there's no seats at the table, and maybe there's a token one seat, so fight over it. So it's unfortunate. Yes, I would love for us all to band together, but I know that it's like a trauma. We're acting on a trauma that we've always been told there's only room for one, or there's not room at all, so figure it out. Or people will say, sure, there's a seat at the table, but who lets you into the house? Who lets you into the dining room? Who gets you a seat at the table? There's so many barriers to entry. So I think sometimes that kind of knee-jerk reaction, and you and I have talked about this before, we have knee-jerk reactions to other women in the industry, and then we catch each other. Yeah. We're like, hey, don't do that. We've been there. And it's one is obviously, please root for each other, and two is check each other. Check each other for sure, and just be like, I don't know about that. Should we be saying that about this person who's also trying to make it in this scene, and should we just bring them in? But yeah, I see it all the time. I see it in every single part of the industry and non-industry in the world, such as life. But we are definitely trying to carve our spaces here. And my biggest piece of advice in that regard is claim every bit of something you've done. Absolutely. Just do not let anyone say that you did not participate in something or, oh, I did it. Don't let anyone take credit for your work. Just claim everything that you've even, maybe like 5% of work. Ask for your name on there. Ask for your dues and just fight for that place. Fight for the seat. Then bring somebody else. Pull the chair in for someone else. But yeah, I get it. I mean, I think there's a long way to go for us, but we're doing it. Find our allies and, make a little hive of women.
But there's a lack of mentorship as well in the music industry for younger women especially.
Well, I mean, we tried to change that. I was going to add something to what Lisa was talking about, and I think building on what you were saying, Mansi, I think India itself has gone through such an evolution with the music scene, like an independent music scene. The people that were toiling and were working, you were building what we are now able to benefit from, like being able to be, like what you were saying, like I've been at festivals and I like yell at them. I'm like, how am I the only female on this lineup? You guys should be ashamed of yourself. Are you telling me there's no talent in this whole country just because I'm crazy and I'll break through the door, you put me on this lineup? But what about the people who are musicians? We can't all be influencers and real dancers. Like we need to still champion musicians. And when I was the judge on MTV Hustle, my God, the things I saw, like when we were doing the auditions, like we had like a rehearsal day where they brought in people for us to like practice giving like our feedback to, and they brought in a girl. And she rapped for me and she was great. And I was like, okay, good. Is she gonna be there tomorrow? They're like, no, she didn't make it. I was like, who are you to stop this girl? There has not been one girl on this list. I have seen 20 boys with backwards hats. How are you not letting this female in? And I literally, word for word, pardon me, I was like, if she is not here, I will burn this effing place down. You will not see me. Like everybody at MTV will tell you that was my quote. I was like, if she is not at the auditions on camera, I will burn this place down. And it took me being like straight up Maishasura Madini, like Kali, in order for them to realize that. And, what we're doing, like to add on that, is that, like Lisa and I were saying that we check ourselves. I think when I first came into India, that feeling of scarcity mentality was infectious. You know, we'd be like, okay, the world wanted me and Lisa to hate each other, and because we're both
then we
from
made a
America.
song together.
And then we were like, ha. And then the blessed Vakra swag.
That's kept our careers alive.
The blessed Vakra swag that has kept us alive, you know, so I love that song. But, you know, I have actively, you know, by watching that and trying to go against that idea of scarcity mentality through my own, you know, work in myself, understanding that abundance needs to be exercised in every opportunity, you know. I've done stuff like the Ronnie Cypher, where Absolute Vodka partnered with me, and I was like, we're gonna do an all-female rap cypher, and you're gonna sponsor it, and it's gonna look like this, and you're gonna put us everywhere. And, you know, that is like the first step. So it's like, it requires, you know, the foundation, us making changes in the way that we look at each other, and also we are part of the mentorship that is happening, you know, amongst the young people. Like a lot of people, like you discovered that girl Ranj. How do you say her name? I keep saying it wrong. Ranj. You discovered her. I messaged her the other day and said, Lisa, introduce me to your music. I just wanted you to know I'm here for you if you ever need to have a coffee, you want to talk about anything. And it's like, it requires us to open the door and look around and find the talent, because if you look at the executives in this country, none of them are women. They're all men. They don't know what they're doing. I'll tell you that straight up, and I have no problem saying that. And we won't have good music coming out of this country if we, as women, don't support each other and create opportunities for each other. Like, it's imperative.
Yeah. So where was mentorship lacking when you entered the music industry? There was absolutely no mentorship.
What she did at MTV was the kind of thing I was doing all over, because I was like burning places down until I was on stage singing. Yeah, you know, so for me at that time, the thing was MTV was still music television. Then I was really lucky. Nachle was the first one in 2005, and it went to number one.
There was music?
There was. Channel V did a music concert, which I think was, which was akin to like literally one of the global, they used to do these massive concerts. Just without social media, Nachle, without any backing, it was the first non-remix original Indian song. In those days, I wasn't composing my own music except the hook. We got a 17-city world tour, which was unheard of for a single standalone independent artist without a Bollywood song to a name. And that helped. The mentorship, I have to thank I have to thank Sanjay Gupta, actually. He's the first person who recognized me as a music director, so I did a song in Acid Factory, which literally 7 million MSN viewers voted to be the #2 song of 2009. But he fought. In fact, that was my mentor. My son was born a year before. I was still like 12 kilos heavier. Vida Samadza was supposed to be on the video, and I landed up at the shoot, and he looked at me and he said, "You're in the video." And I was doing the item number, my body, my choice, I want to be an item, I will. That's another massive thing in the gendered, bias-driven industry. So that helped. So I would say I actually had a lot of male mentors. And like the Raja was saying just before this, we have to pave the way for the next generation. And you know there's a young 12-year-old who's going to come in here today and sing for us. That's what I keep doing. I keep introducing the next lot wherever I can on whichever platform that I do. And that's one thing I've decided to do for. So that's crucial. That's beautiful. And I'm lucky. I've got like a band of women. They've been around me from the get-go. So fortunately or unfortunately, maybe because of an armed forces background and maybe because of the people that I know who've literally fought tooth and nail, they couldn't be here today. We've been this band of women who's always been checking each other. So that again is very, very important. And coming from the newer generation, it feels really good to see that people are looking at it. And I also think that it's beautiful. I think a lot of change in the industry in India is going to happen because a lot of the people who've been raised in a different scenario, know music differently, know it internationally, are bringing so much I would say professionalism and positivity to the business. And these are the voices that are needed. We are singer-songwriters and people need to hear it. And thanks to them, I'm starting my social media game, as you know, slowly and steadily, the new album. So, you know, and I'm working with some incredible male artists. Like there's Anish Gera, 5.1 million streams on Spotify. There's DJ Skip. So literally you'll hear a lot of music that's coming out from men who are really, really supporting women. You know, Anish and I had a meeting the other day with a very big sponsor. Not going to mention it because we're still fighting for it. And he just refused to let the song go in with any other singer. I wrote it, I composed it, I sung it with him, and he just said it's going to be with her and no one else. Very few people do that. So here's for us rooting for each other and men rooting for us as well.
Yeah. But let's go back to what you said. Why are there no women on the top tier of executive decisions? Is that because of a lack of interest or just the
Because
doors
I haven't,
are closed?
I haven't
All
taken
the
their
doors are
job yet.
closed.
No, I mean, like Lisa and I have not taken their jobs yet. That's literally
Why?
what's going
Why?
on.
What are we waiting for?
Well, I mean,
I have a fun
now-
story about that.
Now, I mean, I just left the major label world after 7 years. I was signed to Epic Sony in the US. Then I came to Sony India, followed by Mass Appeal India, Universal, and Capitol Records before I left all of them to make my own label, which is called Godmother Records. Because we had to keep God first, and you know, the kids, the women in this country, we need more support. There needs to be artist development. There's no artist development in this country or even in the world right now. So I believe, like, you know, I always say that I want to see a little girl out of India win a Grammy. Like, you know, if I'm born in Los Angeles and I get to go work with Timbaland and you know, Dr. Dre and Scott Storch and all these, you know, huge producers, if I've sit in a room with so many Grammy Award winners, those opportunities are because of where I was born. And the things that, you know, I was born in Los Angeles. I wasn't born in Albuquerque. You know, I was born in the Mecca of music. So that was such a gift. And it's important, and a lot of people don't understand why would I leave Los Angeles and come back to India. And this is crazy because my parents are actually sitting here, but I feel like 40 years ago, America opened the doors and they asked for all the brightest and the best to come there and build the country and do what they did. And now that I was born there with all those opportunities, I look back at my own country, which I think is India, and I think that it's important to bring my talents back here and give back what I was able to learn because of what my father did, you know? It's like people can keep going and just be like, I'm in America and I'm just gonna just go forward and not look back, but India itself is at this beautiful place in music. It's like the first time we have an independent scene, the first time that people can make music in their houses. It's not hundreds of thousands of dollars to make a video or a song. People are writing and they're being inspired off of a film like Gully Boy and starting to rap and then making a career for themselves, you know? So this is the most important time to be in the country and to set a standard. And, you know, things like Godmother and things like the other independent labels that have come up, like Kalamkar, which is run by Raftar, who is a great advocate for women in music. Some people say they're an advocate, but you have to watch their actions, not their words. Because if they have a whole roster and only one female and everybody releases albums but the female is held back, you should really pay attention to that. That's all I'm saying.
I want to hear that story.
Yeah, I have a master plan to just, you know, talent incubate and find the next me, because my goal in life is that I didn't come, I was like completely caught out of left field when I was asked to come here and make music, because it wasn't my plan. So if there's somebody like me who is sitting at home and strumming a guitar and doesn't know how to, you know, take the next and the next and the next steps, be it in India or be it in the US, my job is to not only just be like, oh, you're great, and I'll give you a song, but it's to really nurture that talent. And especially as a woman, when you come into this industry, it takes a toll on your mental health. There's questions about safety, about financial security. There's just bad people around.
Creeps.
It's a scary place.
Creepies.
I think there's a lot of creepies. I mean, and anyone can say this of the entire, you know, entertainment industry. It's not necessarily safe. So I don't want to just incubate their talent. I want them to feel like it's a home, that this place is safe for them, that their mental health is taken care of, that their music is being made in the way they want to see it being made, within their comforts. I don't need you to not wear anything at all. If you want to wear everything all the time, great. If you want to wear nothing at all, great. I think there's just so much BS pressure on people because all of these music execs are men.
Yeah.
And what do you understand about what a woman wants in terms of representing herself? How are you going to tell a woman how to represent herself? So I want to be in that business in like 7-8 years' time. I want to find the next 8 me's.
We're taking over.
We're taking over. And I think it's a multi-layered process. It's not just music. It's about your brain, your body, your soul, all of it. And in America, and you can attest to this, the way that we do music there is that you got to be good at everything. You got to dance, you got to sing, you got to, you know, your expressions, control your face, control your movement. I want to be able to bring that to India, performance art. Yeah. And this is the expert, right? She is the like epitome of performance art in music in India, because this woman puts on a show. She's like Beyonce, but a rapper. But also she can sing.
In Beyonce.
I mean, she doesn't need to be, she's Raj Kumari. Yeah. So I want more of her and more of me and more of Manasi. I think it's about damn time.
I really feel like we need an all-female festival. I have talked to
Lilith Fair, India.
I'm on this with Sona as well, with Mahapatra. But the one thing I do love about the American music scene is another mentor is 4-time Grammy winner Leslie Brathwaite. He's literally been nominated for mixing and engineering for almost all the big female icons as well as the male icons in America. He came into India. And we put on the show, and there were all these top music directors and everybody. He just literally walked up to me, and there was this other young girl, and he said, I want to record with the two of you, and that's actually happening right now for me in LA as well. So there are people, and I think America, the one thing, and my son's also majoring in basketball and hopefully ending up there.
Whoa, that's a major?
Yeah, he's in Corvus American Academy.
That's amazing.
They've got a Division I NBA 6'5" African American gentleman teaching them, and they're rocking it. But the one thing. Yeah, and he's 15, so he's like he's just still getting there. But
yes, get us to the NBA.
Entertainment and sport, I don't think anybody does it better than the States. And I think that influx of that kind of mentality and that kind of dedication to the craft. Yeah. I mean, now at least these girls are performing and doing their thing. I was wearing the top designers and rocking it up and dancing it up from the get-go. But it needs a vision and a perspective and
that's
fresh
the
blood.
Thing. It's
like
about it's a vision too. I think if you have a woman at the forefront of incubating talent that is woman,
because they get it better than
we want a vision. It's about the longevity of the career, not one single, not one pop song. Yeah. What is your vision? What is your purpose? What is your story? And when you often work with a male-dominated industry, what happens is that nobody asks you your story. They tell you what to do. They don't ask you what you want. Yeah. They're just like, I think this would be a good video for you, and this is going to be the actor opposite you in your music video that we're not going to let you have creative input on, and you're going to wear this, and now we like your song, but change all the chords and actually change all the lyrics. The lyricist is going to be male too. Hope that's cool. All of your composition rights are going to go to the other dude. Yeah. That happened to me on my song last year. I composed half a song, and the rights went to the other guy because he's more known and seniority. I will burn this place down.
Yeah, and that's something I've been doing from the get-go, which is why it doesn't get the eyeballs. I produce every single album of mine, all 3, even the 2 in Australia, all by myself.
Amazing.
Amazing. All by myself. The videos, everything, and by God's grace, the live show circuit has given back to me. Not the online game, but I'm actually learning about releasing audio online now, redoing all of it.
She got you.
A whole new crowd.
I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you.
You have the perfect mentors here for that.
I was going to say it's a whole new crowd that never got to experience you, so you have to treat it like a brand new thing because they're going to love you the same. Like a performer is a performer.
Did I say 20 years in the business? I meant I was 20.
Exactly.
So.
She's 20.
Listen, you've been looking like Kylie, so it's all right. Yeah,
so that's my next question. The film industry has a sell-by, cut-by, cut-off date for women actresses. Is that something we're seeing in the music industry?
It's changing even for films.
I can see Lisa like nodding away.
I'm a living, breathing example that it's changing. Even in the films. I mean, even if you look at the Kapoor sisters who brought her in, like Kareena, my God, she's incredible. And she's been in it. And Deepika, I think, is going to have another 10, 15 years. So definitely not. And yeah, I'm as young as them. We're just getting started. And it's going to be another 20 years for us.
For sure, you're younger.
For sure.
That's what I heard.
What about, you spoke about financial stability. A lot of women probably don't get into music because pay grades are different from female artists versus male artists. Do we want to get into that? Let's talk a little bit about that.
So I think the biggest part of the industry, the money-making machine, is Bollywood. And anyways, male or female, nobody gets paid for playback. Because it's like you're lucky to be here, and this will get you exposure. And the producer who made the song and whatever, they have to get their pay, and you get to tour on the songs, which seems fair until you realize your IP is your voice. And there's typically about a 15 to 18% cut that you get on at least publishing, and you get the performance rights everywhere else in the world. Because when you go into a recording booth, they can't say, sing it exactly like this note by note. Your vocal texture matters, what you make of that song matters.
It's still on like that?
Still on like that. So what happens is that here, first of all, you don't get paid for doing playback. That's not going to happen. Then you're very lucky if you get paid for your music at all, because then you get that next argument, which is, your song is great, you should be honored to get composition rights.
Oh, wow.
For the song that you wrote.
That you wrote and you sung.
That's an honor.
But then you have to sing it like someone else in the industry
Probably.
that's already
But I think the money, as any performer would tell you, male or female, is in touring. And of course the pay grade is different. Of course the perks are different. And it's always going to be like, oh, well, you can't charge as much because you have the hair and makeup thing. I was like, well, I do my own.
Is that
so
something
why
you were told?
is my pay not adjusted for that?
They account for budget for that as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. They account for that in your budget even if you don't use it. They'll just make an excuse out of it. But like woman, you just charge
Thoda
for
less.
everything. Thoda less. Styling ka budget is very high for you. And I'm just like, when did that happen? I'm self-styled. I'm doing my own makeup. I'm like, no, hair. Hidden costs. I was like, what hidden costs? I just unhid them. So it's bizarre. There's a huge pay difference for touring acts that are men versus women. And yet, the everlasting, evergreen legends of song are women. The most outlasting careers are women. But we still don't pay them.
I feel like there's ways, because I think Lisa just thoroughly discussed the plight of the playback singer in India, which is already a really troublesome thing, because it's just a troublesome landscape. I don't know if you guys know, but they will have people who are incredible like Lisa Mishra cut a song, and then they'll have Jonita Gandhi cut it, and then they'll have Shamali Kolgadi cut it, and no one knows who got it until the day of, with these superstars. Like
we found out we did a song together the day it released.
I was like, Lisa, are you on Bakra Swag? I'm on Bakra Swag. And
I was like, oh, you made it.
We did it.
I did it too.
But like the thing that I guess I could attest to that's a little bit different for my journey in India has been because in my situation, there are not many female rappers. So when I entered the scene, there are. I want to give respect to the ones that have worked really hard and are trying. There are female rappers in the scene, but maybe they weren't bringing that international touch. Maybe they didn't understand because maybe they were not working with Stephen Marley and they were not signed as a published writer and recording over 700 songs in their catalog. Like I am.
They weren't as resourced.
They weren't. They didn't have as much when they came in or whatever. But my situation when I come into Bollywood, and it sucks because when I hear about someone who's as accomplished as Lisa going through what she goes through, there is a place for change because I have forced them to pay me when I write things because they cannot write my part. Because I have positioned myself in a way that is so unique, there's no way some man can write my verse for me. So they have to have Raja Kumari write Raja Kumari's part, and Raja Kumari needs to be paid to write that. So I have been able to retain the composition, but then they do this thing, rap and lyrics written by. They want to separate it, which is fine, but in America, there's just songwriters. It has everybody. Everyone's names are listed together, just in alphabetical order. That's what it is. And if you wrote even 2 lines on the song and the people are all good people in the room, you're going to get your percentage. And if the song makes $100,000, you make your percentage of that $100,000. That is how it works. In India, I once did a song for Race 3. I went and recorded it. So it's there. It exists. You guys can go Google it. I did the Allah
She made the
Duhaiye. I made the cut. But I didn't know. Talking about make the cut. This is when I first entered India in 2017. They were like, it's always last minute. It's always like, by the way, all my Bollywood stuff with Katrina, for Bakra, they were already filming it when they're asking me to record it. They're like, Katrina's in the tub. If you can give us the lyrics, she'll learn them while you're recording them. I'm like,
in the
what?
tub.
Because she was in the tub in the video for Husna Parcham. They're like, she's already in the scene. If you could just send us the lyrics while you record it. So it's like last minute thing. And for the Race 3 thing, I'm just sitting at home. Someone sends me a link to the Race 3 trailer with 10 million views, and it's my voice. Nobody told us. Nobody from Sony knew. And I'm not going to get paid on those 10 million views because we do everything as a work for hire. That's something I like to change in India, is the work for hire situation is actually ridiculous. We cannot imagine you either don't get paid or you get paid once, and then the people who didn't write the song are going to make crazy amounts of money off the streaming.
No one gets the master other than the recording
Nobody
label.
gets the master, but when you get your own label, then you own the master. Yeah. Things change a little bit, but
This is a small change I'm making in.
Small change.
Ad film. Oh my God, gender bias. Catch a woman director making an ad film. I'm doing my 6th film right now, music and sound design. And they won't let you enter. So we had to start at charging literally 1/10 of what a male music director charges. But then, luckily, because I've been managing my own work for all these years, I did try management, a lot of management, which I got rid of one by one because they don't, in India, the concept is now.
Because you're a boss.
Yeah.
And you don't need no one.
No, I really, but now thanks to a lot of international talent coming in, the concept of management and PR, it's changing. But I did start to study the market thanks to my good friend Sonama Patra. Literally teaches me everything about advertising. And I literally went from charging 1/10 and saying, okay, social media rights, to saying, and I'm considered, what is it called, troublemaker or
I love that.
because
Wow,
I
that's a
want
nice
my
one.
money up front. Oh, she's too arrogant, and it happened in shows all the time because I wanted my tech
But
rider
let me
the way it
interrupt
was.
you. Do you lose work because of that? Because of the troublemaker money up front, which is your right.
Too, so that's the story. So I was doing ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel. We did the 3rd film for them right now, and then Reliance found us. Reliance, who traditionally I've considered bad paymasters, and they sent me literally 400 lines of lyric to make into an ad film song. Yeah, but listen, guess what? I did it. I did it, and Reliance is like, oh my God,
and
that's
you got the bag?
and they paid me more, and they bought the rights to it. So there's a small change in the advertising industry that I'm trying to do at the same time. So, I hope it happens.
We just did this with a licensing deal on 2 of the things that I compose for ads as well, where I own the master and then they license for X amount of time. Because I don't want to ever get into the business of buying back my music. I was like, wait, I made it, now I have to pay you to get it back? But if a song is good, sometimes what happens is on a fluke, you might be making an ad song that sounds really good. And you're like, exactly, keep the rights, because in 3 months' time, when that licensing deal is up, release it as a single.
But do you still get the credit, front and
course.
center?
Oh yeah, advertising.
That's the change. Like,
That's the change.
That is happening.
That's happening.
No, especially when there are male singers, songwriters on the thing.
We
In
don't
India,
put
it's
them
not-
on our
it's
songs.
not
I honestly
alphabetical.
don't either.
We don't put them on our
For my
songs
ad work,
anymore.
I'm like, it's me.
No, but there's no alphabetical order in India, right? There is a hierarchy, and names get put
Seniority hierarchy.
seniority, and there is no alphabetical order. So you could be last, or you could be first, depending on luck.
As long as our
As long as
names
your
are
name's there.
there, yeah. It's gotta take what we can get. It's been difficult, but I would say also the change in the ad world. Actually, I had a lot of managers before that would just be like, "No, there's no way you get to own your music at the end. It's just not how business is done." And I have a new management company that I've been with for like 5 months, and the last 2 things I did, I own the song, and Hershey's and Google are like licensing from me. I'm like, this is insane. Like this whole time I could have been
Johnny Walker and Amazon
that's
licensing
what I'm
from
saying.
me.
So this is the change. So the fact that Lisa and I are making these happen is setting precedent. So like even
And Manasi, of course.
Yeah, Monty, of course. I'm
Yes.
just saying like yeah, she's been punking them too. I'm just saying like but these are like they're hiring us to sing. They're hiring you for the whole thing. We haven't got there
Exactly.
yet. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Exactly.
We're getting there. We're getting there. But those changes are exciting. Because,
And it's a great
yeah.
space to bring women in.
Yes.
So I try to make sure where I have control, and you do too, and you do too, if I have a collaborator, if I can bring a woman in, it's my call. I get to be the decision maker in that space. My producers, I work with Ruel. I produce all of my ad work. Who ditched us today. But the 2 boys that I work with on production are so kind about letting me have, not even kind, they just are like, it's your creative call. Everything you want. Just tell us what to do. We'll give you input if it's necessary, if you ask for it. And if you don't, great, your call. Guess who's bringing in the money? You are. We're not. So it was like, all right, cool.
But how do you deal with unsolicited advice on your own work? If someone's saying you don't sing it this way, you guys know better, right?
To be fair, a lot of unsolicited advice I've gotten, especially in Bollywood, has been really crucial to cultivating my career. Because I used to sing with a really heavy American accent. So over time, being in the vocal booth and having mavericks, and a lot of them men, almost always men, so I'm like, try this pronunciation, try this harkat here, try this murki here. It's helped me a lot. As a singer. As a songwriter, I've worked with men for a long time. So my first songwriting gigs were with Chance the Rapper. And those are spaces where, yeah. So we worked on this really amazing Grammy-winning album called The Coloring Book, and I had, in my spaces and my portions, I had creative control, which is great. It's a balance of both. I don't mind the feedback. I encourage feedback on my vocals all the time. I like to improve. I really encourage songwriting feedback because I'm newer to that than I am singing. The unsolicited advice comes when it's a no. When they're like, no, not that. I'm like, well, okay, we might have a problem.
But I will say something about the South Indian industry when you're talking about accents. I'm half Sardarni. I can sing a Tate Punjabi song, but it'll still be like Scott, which is, by the way, my married name. I was a Ravindranath. I'm half Tambram. The South Indian industry, and if you girls get to go there, work with Yuvan Shankar, I've done a lot of playback down south. That's straight up respect for you as a female artist. They'll spend time explaining lyrics to you. Money will be given up straight. They'll give you your... So South changed this game. I've seen it. I've seen it over... My first ever playback song was... for Priyadarshan film, it was a song called Ottedi Padele. I remember way back way. And I was like 19 or just out of film school. Even then, there was a lot of respect for women. Nobody ever came and said, sing it like this or sing it like... They made songs around your voice, where in Bollywood, it was always like, come sing like so-and-so, come sing like so-and-so. So the South is a great space. A lot of mentors from there. But for now, in the Indian industry...
let's be honest, their music is better for
Much
it.
better.
It's just miles ahead because they give proper dues.
True. Have you experienced this? Feedback that's not gone the way it should?
Oh, mine in music, I guess people don't know what to tell me because I guess like the fusion I'm doing is like always surprising for them. Most of the unsolicited advice is usually about what I look like, my body, what I'm wearing, if I should lose weight.
That's something
If I
didn't-
lose
yeah.
weight, then
That's
this
just
is
a
how much more
minefield.
successful I'll be. That's usually, my favorite question that people ask me is like, how do you have the confidence? Like, just tell me how. I'm like, what do you mean how?
How do you have the confidence to leave your home?
How do you step outside looking the way you do? And I'm like, are we in the same planet? Like, how do people talk to me this way? But I think in general, like, I think people are scared of me, which is like a fantastic.
It's a superpower.
Yeah, fear. In India, I think it's been helpful because it just keeps all the creeps away.
Scared and confused.
Yeah, and like I've made this like crazy like Mahishasura Mardini Devi character, so like promoters are scared of me, and I'm like, sometimes it's like, oh, you guys, I'm really nice, but I'm like, you know what? Let's just keep it this way because it makes them make sure that all the stuff is in my dressing room when I show up. I want hot water. Like I need honey before I go on stage, and if I'm too nice, they don't take you seriously.
No, and this is what I love about you, because here breaking the bias is so crucial for India. Indian women have not been given... The other day we were talking about this in LWL as well, because the group that we're part of, sometimes when someone has been raised borderline biased against women, it's generally a man in the family or generally somebody... It could be us too. But luckily, on this group, the minute I put forth sort of an ideology or an experience, everybody just opens their hearts and minds up and changes it. Like that's why I'm here. You know that, and I think it's changing. But for people, bias in India has still got a long way to go, and I hope the music industry is a pioneer.
We're
Thanks to
changing it. We're changing it. Every conversation like this changes it. Every record label like yours will change it. Every time you make a demand, every time you're on stage, we're changing
And
it all the
invest
time.
in us. People with power, invest in us. Men and women, especially women, invest in our work. Be curious about what we're doing. Ask, like, how can I help? I mean, if it's a thing of like somebody saying your music video costs us 5 lakhs and you're 2.5 lakhs short, invest in us. The output is art. There's nothing more pure than that. And I feel like so much of the reason we don't get to where we need to go is because men invest in each other.
That's what we're trying to
Men
break.
show up without even being asked. They're saying, "Hey, I heard
But
through
you
the
have
grapevine."
a room full of 90%
actually
of
the
women
room
showing
full.
up for you guys
No,
tonight.
I have to tell you, invest in us. So I have 3 friends over here. There's Dilshad, there's Sameer, there's Nisha, there's also Giddy and Nargis. They have been there for every live concert. I've just realized
That's
all my
amazing.
album launches, and you're here today as well. So I literally have people who've not been on.
Where's Ruel? Come on.
Come on, Ruel. I have another guitarist friend who's here, but I literally realize you guys have been there from the get-go for almost every concert. So thank you. So there are people who have been investing in me
Yes,
live.
they're the
So here you
example.
are.
And
Right
thank
there.
you guys for being here. I'm
And
going to open it
everybody
up
for
to
being
audience
here.
questions now. If anybody has questions, we can pass the mic around.
Use your belting voice.
You need it in this crazy world.
Sorry, who has a question?
I'm the lonely man here.
Well,
I support you.
not the only one, but hold on.
Hello, hi. You guys are extremely inspiring. I love you, Manasi, Scott, and all the 3 ladies on the dais. And I'm architect Shalaka Lalwani. I'm also an urban planner. I'm one of the top 5 empaneled architects of MCGM,
Let's go.
along with Hafiz Contractor, because everybody knows Hafiz Contractor. Okay, so the question here is, I'm not from your industry, but my daughter, she's 6-year-old and she's a songwriter.
A songwriter at
Yes,
6.
and she has an amazing voice, and she belts out song like Ariana Grande. And
Amazing.
She's better than her. I'm biased. Sorry. So
Hey, she very well may be. You never know.
yeah, so I'm here just to understand you guys and your industry for her, so I can encourage her and be by her side. So I have a very bleak view of entertainment industry.
She's 6.
Yes, she's 6
I'm
years
starting
old.
that business in 8 years. Let's go. She's 14. It's a great time to start.
Baby Bieber. Go.
That's right. We're going to make her Ariana Grande. No, we're not going to make her Ariana Grande. We're going to make her her.
She writes mind-blowing lyrics. Her lyrics are at some other level, and she's amazing.
I guess my advice, because I actually started performing when I was 6 years old as well. I was a classical dancer. So the beginning of my career and my life was telling stories on stage, and that really helped me a lot with my stage show. Like, I'm still a classical dancer when I get on stage as a rapper. I would say that, you know, the most important thing that made me the artist I am today is my parents and them really supporting my art. You know, they made sure that if I wanted
I like
to...
that our moms are not listening.
They're not listening. Well, actually, this is from my dad. You know, our parents, you know, my dad has always been a champion of art. You know, they were, if I wanted to learn any type of music, you know, I had a piano class. And I think it's when she's growing up and she's learning, let her explore all different types of art.
Totally.
Be supportive in the ways that she's expressing herself. Introduce her to incredible artists, because we learn through, you know, watching. So Ariana Grande is a great pop artist, but maybe introduce her to some other poets,
Yeah,
so that
my
her
favorite
songwriting
is
can
Aretha
grow.
Franklin.
Yes.
Whoa.
That's what you need
Send
to
her
have.
to me.
And also, yeah, and I also think that training is important. You know, I started classical training at 6, and that is what makes me know how to hold myself and speak and behave. And I think just investing in the arts and being supportive of an artist is so rare in this world, because everybody wants to be a doctor, engineer, an influencer. Like, they don't even want to do work anymore. It's fine. But being a musician, an artist, requires lifelong commitment, dedication. Like, it has
Discipline.
to be discipline. You know, like they say, it takes 10,000 hours to be
A master of something.
master of something, and you want to be a master of something. So just keep supporting whatever she wants to do, and expose her to art, paintings, like, you know, going places, seeing nature. You know, that's what makes an amazing artist.
And I feel like, because I felt a lot of this pressure, when you have a kid with exceptional talent, I'm sure you guys went through this, parents are great, but they have the tendency to push that talent, even if the kid is uncomfortable, on like family gatherings. Beta ek gana. One song. And then I think if your kid is a natural born confident performer, let her put on a 3-hour show and make everyone else sit quietly and watch.
Oh, no.
If they're shy, let them be shy. Let them nurture their talent like I did in my bedroom. I love that for her. But if you do have, anyone else in the room has a kid that's a little bit shyer, I did not perform. My mom has watched me perform, I think, a grand total of 6 times in my life. I get so nervous having her or my dad's presence in the room. I clam up. I'm a performer on stage. But kids have insecurities with their parents because we're taught to really impress them. So there's a lot of pressure. If you have a shy kid, don't necessarily put them on the spot and be like, beta, sabke liye gana gao. maybe it's be like, beta, go study. Sounds like that's what you want to do.
Kids like, no, I don't want to. वो वाला गाना जो उस दिन गाया था तुमने. Yeah, no.
I've come actually full circle. I'm not a trained artist. I was a software engineer.
Same.
But I was lucky enough to be in convent schools. I've changed 8 schools and colleges, and at every school I had to prove myself and be better at everything, from getting the A grades to elocution, debating, singing, dancing. And I think today I compose we just did something which is going to come out on a new offshoot of Social Swag, which is the 10-minute album. I've literally done 40 songs in 10 minutes on the same chords. So that, for me, not training, not learning an instrument, but as Raja said, I did get involved in all the arts. I do watch Ruel when he's making music. I have another great partner called Karan in studio. And I can literally hum a tune on the phone. I use the voice as an instrument, and they get it exact. I'll say, this is what I want the guitar to sound like. This is what I want the keys to
By
sound
the
like.
way, that's what male music directors do.
Oh yeah.
You can be in the room with Vishal and Shekhar, and they'll be like, "Aise bajao guitar," no, and that's what happens. It's not like you're untalented if you can't play the instrument. you're directing other people. That's also a talent.
Yeah, I have watched A.R. Rahman just like sing like a horn section, and then like I was sitting there, and 15 minutes later, someone comes in and they're like this, and it's all played out with like all these, and they just record him singing it, and that's the day I realized like I'm a musical director.
Yeah, really. And
I am a composer.
I've seen Rahman do this as well because I do a lot of shows with
do
him.
anything.
But at least nowadays you've got a horn section that he can go to. In the early days, it was I've worked with the older guys who just on the harmonium are playing the same thing, the same sound, and I say, and then you're like, and the song comes out to be totally different, but there's somebody there who's just understood it, and it's amazing. Our country, it's beautiful the way it works. But yeah, exposure to the arts, that's what the...
Yeah, lots of exposure and a little room for shyness. All good.
And go with her to all of her auditions until she's older.
This is a question for you, Manasi. I don't know how you managed to make your 24 hours, 36 hours in a day. Because
This is lockdown. I don't think the girls
I don't know
know.
how you do it, but being a mother, as well as singer, producer, everything, you also do kickboxing and horse riding.
Have you seen her abs?
Yeah.
We can all see them.
That was so funny. And you're talking about guys in the room. The minute I had my child, the first thing aapke six-pack chale gaye? I was like, yeah, I just had a child, you know. So, yeah, so this...
Oh, wapas aa gaya. You have it.
They have
That's
to
right.
come back, yeah. So, yeah, this has always been me, and I think that's why I did 180 concerts in lockdown in 145 days. I just got an award for it. And some of the ladies here were part of it as well. I don't know how I did it, and trust me, I didn't know there were 40 people watching or 492 like the one that we broke all records with. But I could just see myself, and I was singing to myself, I can't do 3 back-to-back. I did 180. There were days I was doing 4 concerts, one on YouTube, one on something, one on something. So I think it's just been the energy from the time that I was a kid. And like Raja said, it's so the minute you get exposed to 25 different things, the mind starts to move in all directions. And I think I could sing in front of 30,000 people, but coming and singing in front of mom, dad, though dad was my biggest champion. He's the one who, as I said, made me give up my scholarship to MIT and start singing here. Zizu, my son, Zafan, when I was pregnant with him, I actually composed my first full album, which had Palash and Mika and the whole lot on them. He's the one who actually taught me to sing for the joy of singing. So these are beautiful times for all of us. We're all smiling when we're looking at 3 women talk about music. These are times where parents will smile and promote everything that their children are doing with joy. So what Lisa said was very, very important. If you want to, not everybody can do 25 million things at the same time. It's got to do with how you've been brought up. And I think I was a supercharged ever-ready battery from the time I was born. My mom literally told me I should kick in her stomach to come together. And then I used to crawl to the speaker and bounce around on it. So I've been like this throughout. But some kids are not. I think I just believe there's one life. And if I can't try and do everything that I want to do, then it wouldn't be fair to the life that I'm living. And I'm hoping my son is kind of imbibing that. But that's the reason I put 36 hours and 24. I literally think there's just this one beautiful life. And let's just go out and do everything. And I hope that I inspire people to keep moving because...
You got that. I was like, I'm listening to you and I'm getting tired. And I was just gonna say that I feel like Lisa and I experienced this during the pandemic is the burnout. Yes. And I want to just maybe talk. I mean, you are incredible. I don't have a 6-pack, so maybe that's why I have burnout. Maybe
That's
one
where the
day,
energy comes
when
from.
I get that 6-pack, we'll see if I'm crazy with this. But I was just gonna say that it's also important in this current world where news is 24-hour cycle. Everything is instant. It's constant. If I release a song today, it's old tomorrow. It's old by the evening, you know? And it's like, it takes so much work to put that music in. And I think that we have been talking about this a lot. This is something that you and I both struggled with, is like counting your wins. Count your blessings. I will run past a win. It'll be like, you're on a billboard in Times Square. And I'll be like, who cares? What's next? Someone else had one too. And it's like, geez, it's crazy. And what actually happened is...
And say them aloud. Like,
say them out loud. Yeah.
As full as the room is, just be like, I did this and this and this and this. Be that annoying person. Claim your wins.
But also, I was going to say is that like, they always say that comparison is a thief of joy, and I would say that there is nothing more true. And comparing yourself to yourself also is like crazy. Like just every now and then, just understand that music cannot be forced. Music is divine. It comes from a spiritual realm. We are lucky that we can hear music. There are people that walk around and do not hear music. They don't play symphonies in their mind that you have to like give to people. Like that's a gift, you know, and it's important that we take that gift seriously because it's our job to make the soundtrack to everyone else's life. Like, how do they enjoy their first dance? How do they have their first dance with their husband? Or, you know, how do they remember the moments in their life unless you are centered and open and can receive these, you know, music, these melodies, these lyrics that will resonate with the whole population. And that's also important. So rest is as important, you know, also. You know, that's important.
Actually, the celebrating your successes, I think I told you that I'd watched one of your documentaries. Like, I knew about you before you'd entered India. And I watched you perform at the Palladium, the square there, and I was screaming out her name. And I had other people walking up to me and say, but you're a singer, why are you supporting? And I was like, that's the Raja Kumari. And you, by the way, inspired your version, inspired my mashup with Maroon 5's Girls Like You, which they tweeted about. 35 Girls Like You, I kind of mashed up.
Whoa.
Yeah, that song,
Cool.
and you inspired it.
I'm
Well will tell you.
famous adjacent.
So it's very important, A, to celebrate your own wins and to celebrate each other. That's the only change I think the three of us are like kind of reiterating over and over again.
Totally.
Just celebrate each other, because I'm telling you, life just opens up, gives you 36 hours and 25. If you just start celebrating
24.
yourself.
I love that you're thinking 25. She's already one step ahead.
I was like, I'm sleepy. 10 p.m. is coming quicker.
Manasi's like, no, there's a 12 and a half.
Listen, I will be asleep by 10:30 because I wake up at 4:30 to go ride my horse.
Girl,
So I do that.
you have a horse? This story is crazy. I love it.
And on that note, I'm going to end the conversation and leave the stage to the beautiful
Yeah,
ladies
we've been asked to sing, so I'm going to call in two very special people. Ashish Penoli, who is an army brat himself. Actually, let him come in. Sway, would you give some effects on? Yeah, actually, yeah, we could. And Raja can decide later if she wants to jam out a song as well. So this is one of those songs that I wrote a few years ago, which we're in studio producing now. It's about that kind of love that's not the real thing, but it's not rebound either. But you know, that kind of love that soothes you like medicine. It's called Medicine. You said, don't cry, and the tears stopped rolling. You said, don't try, and I kept going. You said, let it be, and I was wise. You said, walk on water, and I was Christ. 'Cause I swallowed you whole like a jagged little pill. Let's echo. And as I take you in, it feels I'll heal. You said, don't cry. Wanna clap with me? I can't run it. You said, don't fly, and I was a running. You said, hold on to love, don't let go, and baby, I was alive. You said, come to me, lover, and I was desire. 'Cause you're my medicine, you're my medicine. You're my medicine, and you don't leave a bitter taste in me. Yeah, so that's, thank you. All right, so this one's another one called Hurricanes, and then we'll have some fun with ladies who lead. We're gonna slow this down. Something gonna run me and set me free. Something came and took away the light and brought all your demons out. Upside down in the swirling spirals of deceptions and games. In the eye of the storm, I saw the sunshine again. You don't want to stay, I don't want to go. Hurricanes, you won't make it right, I don't want to fight. Hurricanes, taking and pulling, uprooting everything in your way.
Your stubbornness destroying the last of what remains. Hurricanes. Something changed inside of me and set me free as your twister raged. Shaking in the debris of your empty words, but I stand my ground. Silently screaming so loud I drowned out your every sound. You got me moving on to other ground. You don't wanna stay, I don't wanna go. Hurricane, you won't make it right, I don't wanna fight. Hurricanes, taking and pulling, uprooting everything in your way. Your stubbornness destroying the last of what remains. Hurricanes. Yeah, so that's another one that we're working on. All right, thank you. Yeah, suddenly realized it wasn't the key, we had to do it in. Okay, one more for Ladies Who Lead. This was the last time that I was with the Ladies Who Lead group, and this is what you girls inspired. But here's what we'll do. You'll hear the chorus. You give me words about the ladies, about Raja, about Lisa, and let's see if we can make a song on the fly. Yeah, this is my last one, and then I'm going to call the young Ikvira. So this is for all you girls in the room. Abha, Bakaya, she's not here. Anisha, thank you. Ladies Who Lead, thank you for being part of this. This one's for you. Ladies who lead, ladies who shine, ladies who shine their light and keep the world alive. Ladies who are, ladies who love, ladies who come together as one are the ladies who lead. You can click with me. And I walked into the room that I saw you in. I saw a beacon to the skies, and I knew we're in. And I saw us come together and sing praises for each other, and I knew we were fine, 'cause we're ladies who lead, ladies who shine, ladies who shine their light and keep the world alive. Ladies who are, ladies who love, ladies who come together like we do are the ladies who lead. Anything else you'd like me to sing about? Got a word? Got a type of song? Last chance? Everybody's spellbound, I like that. All right, so that's a song called Ladies Who Lead. I'm going to call on our next gorgeous young singer, and the talent, I hope it'll get nurtured very, very soon. And you have two beautiful mentors here, right here. Give it up for Ikvira. Here we go. Give it up for Ikvira. Come on, everybody, give us some love and joy.
Easy go, that's just how you live. Oh, take it on, but you never give. Should've known you was trouble from the first kiss. Had your eyes wide open, why were they open? Gave you all I had and you tossed it in the trash. You tossed it in the trash, you did. To give me all your love is all I ever ask. 'Cause what you don't understand is I'd catch a grenade for ya, throw my hand on your blade for ya, not jump in front of a train for ya. You know I'd do anything for ya. Whoa, I would go through all this pain, take a bullet straight through my brain. Yes, I would die for you, baby, but you won't do the same. Yeah. Black and blue, meet me till I'm numb. Tell the devil I said, hey, when you get back to where you're from. Man, woman, that's just what you are. Yeah, you smile in my face and rip the brakes on my car. Gave you all I had and you tossed it in the trash. You tossed it in the trash, yeah, you did. To give me all your love is all I ever ask. 'Cause what you don't same. If my body was on fire, yeah, ooh, you'd watch me burn down in flames. You said you love me, you're a liar, 'cause you never, ever, ever did, baby. But darling, I still got your grenade for ya. Throw a hand on a blade for ya. Now jump in front of a train for ya. You know I'd do anything for ya. Whoa, I would go through all this pain. Take a bullet straight through my brain. Yes, I would die for you, baby. But you won't do the same.
Yeah. Ekveed has got an original for you as well, but we're gonna get the Raja, and I love calling you the Raja. I don't know why. I heard it on a documentary once.
So there's that surprise song that we realized we ended up on. We did a version of Wakra Swag for a film a couple years ago.
हो मेरा सूट पटियाला कितनों को मार डाला हाँ पंजाब दी मैं कुड़ी सरदारनी जुत्ती मेरी हैगी के मैं सारी कट दिए वैम तेरे तो भी ज्यादा वखरा सुहागनी ओ वखरा सुहागनी ओ वखरा सुहागनी ओ वखरा सुहागनी.
All right, this is the song that put me on stage here today in front of you guys. It's a little song called Tarifa.
I'm just gonna be a super
Thanks,
fan.
guys. Thanks.
I'm gonna be a super fan behind.
God bless Ria. Oh my God.
We love you, Ria.
Thank you for pulling me out of my bedroom and when I was bored with my tech job. Thanks. All right, here we go.
कानों में एक दिल की बात सुनावानी तेनू हसदा वेख के जगनू मैं भुल जावानी दस दे किदां गल तेनू समझावानी ओ अब तू छड़ दे ओनू जो है तेरे नाल नखरे क्यों कर दिए मैनू जजदा नहीं किन्ना सवाल कर दिए ना मैं सुनता नहीं और दस किन्नियां तारीफां चाहिदियां तैनू और दस किन्नियां तारीफां चाहिदियां तैनू और दस किन्नियां तारीफां चाहिदियां तैनू और दस किन्नियां तारीफां चाहिदियां तैनू.
Sweet angel baby.
समझे ना बातें मेरी तू क्यों है लड़दी सूरत ये भोली सीरत तेरी बेवफा समझे ना इशारे हाँ किन्नी प्यारी मैं कहाँ तो आजा चल मेरे नाल नखरे क्यों कर दिए मैंने जजदा नहीं किन्ना सवाल कर दिए ना मैं सुनता नहीं और दस किन्नियां तारीफां चाहिदियां तैनू और दस किन्नियां तारीफां चाहिदियां तैनू और दस किन्नियां तारीफां चाहिदियां तैनू और दस किन्नियां तारीफां चाहिदियां तैनू.
Come on, Manasi.
'Cause girls like you run round with guys like me sundown. When I come through, you need a girl like me. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
me too. I'm on when I come through.
I need a girl like you. और दस किन्नियां तारीफां चाहिदियां
तैनू और दस किन्नियां तारीफां चाहिदियां तैनू और दस किन्नियां तारीफां चाहिदियां तैनू और दस किन्नियां तारीफां चाहिदियां तैनू.
Here we go. Thank you guys.
Oh my God! Give it up for Lisa Mishra. Come on.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for singing along. It was very sweet. Oh, that makes like the 7th time my mom has seen me perform.
All right.
Total.